AM 1460, the new WXBR, the talk of Metro South. You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva here with you on this Tuesday morning. Joining us right now via the telephone, Mike, is a legend. Born as Cosgrove Visiri, better known to the world as former WWE champion, the Iron Sheik. He's joined alongside Gian Megan, who is his manager and one of the directors of a new documentary about the Iron Sheik, which is available for digital download at sheikmovie.com. We welcome in Gian and the Iron Sheik to the program. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, guys.
Hi, how you doing?
We're doing fantastic. Sheik, are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Sheik, tell us about the process of making this documentary. 30 years removed from your World Championship Pro Wrestling reign, and all these years later, people still talk about the Iron Sheik, and in juxtaposed to how they felt about you 30 years ago, you are somewhat of a beloved figure now, despite the fact that you were one of the most hated villains in pro wrestling history.
I'm sorry, what was your name, sir? Peter?
I am Peter, yes, Sheik.
Mr. Peter, first of all, I have a pleasure for me to talk to you. You are a very intelligent man, Mr. Peter. Do you know about my real name, Khosrow Vaziri? I'm a real Iranian, and then after that, I come to wrestler in Minnesota, and Mr. Ghania, wife, Mrs. Ghania, give me that name, the Iron Sheik. I was Midwest Minnesota, and then I left the Big Apple, New York, for Mr. McMahon, and you know, I've been through wrestling amateur half of my life, and another since 1973. I turned professional. So far, I'm doing good, and I'm with my filmmaker Megan boys and Gian and Pashman. I saw the movie. It was excellent about exactly how I grew up in Iran and what I did in the Minnesota, New York, coast to coast, all over the world, and it's a great story, and I'm very happy, sir, Mr. Peter.
Well, Sheik, 30 years later, people still interested in this movie. The sheikmovie.com is where people can learn more information and get this available digitally. How did you come to America? Obviously, you came to America and became a pro wrestler, but you were an amateur wrestler first, an accomplished one at that, in Iran, and you made your way to the United States as an amateur wrestling coach for the University of Minnesota. It seems rather unlikely that someone from Iran would end up in the United States in a prominent amateur wrestling position like the coach for a major university like the University of Minnesota. How did you come from Iran to America? What brought you to the United States?
Mr. Peter, in Iran, I was the employee for the national Iranian television station, and an assistant cameraman. I found out the call television. They said, Mr. Vaziri, Iron Sheik, that time Khosrow, your friend is in the special place to cut the people in the hospital.
In the morgue.
Hospital.
Yeah.
So in a hospital, and after hospital, take him to the cemetery. I'll make the long story short. His name was Ghulam Reza Takhti, the greatest wrestler in the Persian history. He competed for Olympic, and after that, his last Olympic, 1964, Tokyo, Japan, and come back and married to Shala, and I get people, big revolution, shocked the Takhti and government, and then I left it. I talked to Mr. Alan Rice, Olympic coach of the Munich, Germany. Mr. Alan Rice just told me, you come to the Minnesota, and then the rest, don't worry about nothing. That's why I come to America.
Now, Peter, I don't know if you caught that whole story. I could probably say it, the Cole's Notes version of it right now.
Sure, bring it to us. This is Gian Megan, who is one of the producers of the Sheik movie.
So Sheik was best friends with the Olympic champion, similar to like a Muhammad Ali or Michael Jordan of Iran, a man by the name of Takhti. He was his best friend. They were training partners. This man won gold medals for Iran. He was like the hero of the country. And the Sheik was very well placed to be the Olympic champion because he was training alongside his best friend, this Olympic champion. And one day, literally out of nowhere, this man was found dead in his hotel room and with a suicide note, and the whole country went upside down, and there was a real speculation as to how and why this man would commit a suicide. And the Sheik had felt that there was an inside job, there was a fix, and there was potential for his life to be in danger, and so he literally fled the country. And that's the story and the origin of Mr. Vaziri coming to America.
We're chatting with the Iron Sheik here on the new WXBR 1460 PM in the AM. Sheik, how did you go from being an Olympic wrestler to the world of professional wrestling?
Excellent question, Peter, because completely professional wrestling different freestyle and Greco-Roman. Greco-Roman freestyle international toughest sport in the Olympic game because one-on-one individual. It's not team sport, not basketball, not football, and that's. I grew up, Peter, Iran. I started. I was 14 years old in the school. After school, army and national champion to the outcome Iranian high school army and national championship. I come back to the America and all my life I grew up with the toughest sport wrestling.
Now, Sheik, I know that the producers of this movie, Gian, you included, are from Canada and from Toronto, Canada in particular. And I've been reading some of your stuff on social media as of late at _Iron Sheik for those looking to follow along on Twitter, and at Gian Magin, GIANMAGN on Twitter, that you had hoped to have a sit-down meeting over the past few days with the infamous mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford. Considering that the producers of this movie are from Toronto, that did not happen, and you're upset about it. What was supposed to happen? What did you propose? What did not happen? And how do you feel about it?
About Rob Ford?
Yeah, how do you feel about Rob Ford, Iron Sheik?
Well, Mr. Peter and...
Is it Peter or Michael?
This is Peter, but either one of us. We both want to know.
Yes,
Peter
we do.
Peter and Mr. Michael, whatever, and Rob Ford supposed to be mayor of the Toronto city, beautiful city, international city, cosmopolitan, and the man started to eat this cheeseburger or hamburger, whatever. His belly get bigger and worse than all cheeseburger or hamburger. He did that crack, and then I think all intelligent Toronto people get shocked to the mayor of the city doing crack or that bad drugs, whatever. So anyway, he lost the face, and he's a bad role model. I come to Toronto. I've been to the city hall to tell him, and then they get my message. And he said, you're going to come see me. He didn't show up. I don't have respect for him. And I wish that lady, Olivia Chow, she be the mayor of the Toronto or Iron Sheik. Because that jabroni Robert Ford is no good son of a bitch. And then he beat Hulk Hogan. He think he can be the Iron Sheik. I'll take him down. I'll kick his fat belly. I'll make him to tell Iron Sheik have to be mayor of the city of Toronto.
So, guys, you just got breaking news. The Iron Sheik wants to run for mayor of Toronto.
Sheiky
on
for
your
mayor.
page, he just announced it.
As a United States citizen and someone who was born in Iran, can they do that? You know Canadian politics more than either of us, Mr. Gian.
Absolutely not.
Well, it'll be a nice attempt. Nevertheless, we're chatting with Gian Magin and the Iron Sheik here on WXBR. Sheik, you had your issues with substance abuse in the past, and obviously Rob Ford is a character who has achieved infamy due to his involvement with certain substances. What is it like for you now as you are trying to recover from certain addictions you've had in the past? And Gian, what was it like to document the Iron Sheik going through his struggles during the making of this documentary?
So that's a really great question. My brother and I, we grew up idolizing the Iron Sheik. He's a childhood best friend of our father's, and we've known this man our whole lives. And in 2006, our entertainment company decided to go out to Atlanta and film his life and kind of try and do something for his legacy, for his grandchildren, and for future generations. And it was motivated based on the fact that, a lot of the wrestlers from his generation were falling off the map, dying one by one. There was that epidemic almost in the 2000s, if you recall. And so we went to Atlanta with the camera and decided, we have to do something for the man. Unfortunately, the whole time we were there, the man was fighting with his family. He was doing serious drugs, and we couldn't release that footage unless we wanted to have like a really dark and harsh, expose on him. So through time and through perseverance, year after year, we continued to film and we continued to be an influence on him to help him get clean. And finally, now in 2014, the story that we wanted to tell in 2006 is ready to be told, and it's a beautiful story about a man who conquered many things and achieved many things, and most importantly, beat drugs.
Sheik, how did you kick the drug habit, and how much of a temptation is there for you to go back to doing drugs when you're out doing autograph signings and independent wrestling shows and things of that nature?
Well, Mr. Fidder, I'll be honest with you, or Mr. Mike, in the Mr. McMahon, Tora, New York, Hafsa Jim Duggan, 1987, we get caught in the New Jersey turnpike, and I was suspended 2 years, and Mr. McMahon, best is Tora number one. 2 years cost me to raise $2 million, same as Hacksaw. And that's besides that, 2 years I was without a job. Anyway, I'll make the long story short. I paid from my due, and since Megan Boys wants to make a movie from Iron Sheik, last 8 years, Mr. Peter, I completely changed, and only thing I drink a little bit beer, but for my documentary and my movie, the Megan Boys changed me, and I want it because they don't like to do drugs. We did our movie, and I stopped because for myself, my family, and my pride, and for Mr. McMahon, and I'm good now, Mr. Mike and Peter. So, especially last 8 years, Megan Boys changed me.
Well, I know that the documentary filmmakers, as I just mentioned, there was certain peers of yours from wrestling in the 80s that were passing away in large numbers a few years ago. Just a few weeks back, the wrestling world lost the Ultimate Warrior, and you and the Ultimate Warrior on a personal level, it seemed like had some issues in recent years, but following his death, it did appear that you were sad that he had gone. What was your relationship with the Ultimate Warrior towards the end, and how did you feel when you learned of his passing?
Well, Mr. Feeder, I'll be honest with you. I know the Ultimate Warrior since Georgia. Long time ago, maybe 15 years ago, I was Atlanta, Georgia, wrestling for Mr. Ted Turner station, TBS. Even before that, he was one of the best bodybuilder and physique, and come to the Georgia for the contents, and he come first place. And Ollie Anderson told me, Sheik, check your Persian club in that contest, challenge with everybody, and we're going to film it. So I took the club to that bodybuilding contest, and I put $10,000. Anybody do my club, I give double. Otherwise, I give him $10,000. And I only need the biggest one, strongest one, come to try it. Only I give the chance to 5 people. So he was one of the 5 people. He come to my club. He cannot do it. He lost the face. And also, I read in the paper, either in the information, and they write it, he's a gay, he's a fag, a bad man, blah, 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 blah. But I feel sorry he passed away. He was only good for himself and his body, but he was not Bruno Sammartino, or he was not world class like Iron Sheik. He was didn't respect old-timer. He was a jabroni. And since he making money in New York, get a big head, and he was too expensive for the Mr. McMahon. And then he didn't
Well, Sheik and Gian, I know you guys have some other responsibilities you have to get to. We want to remind the folks to follow the Iron Sheik on Twitter as well as Gian Megan. That's at JIANMAGEN. It's sheikmovie.com where you can digitally download this new documentary about the life and times of the Iron Sheik. Both of you, any final words for...
We're doing a pre-order right now on the website, sheikmovie.com, for $9.99 with some limited edition memorabilia for the people that pre-order the doc. And this is all about the legend. If this man's ever entertained you in any way, shape, or form, here's your chance to give back. It's a remarkable story. The reviews are coming in are unbelievable. And it's got The Rock in it. It's got Hogan in it. Jim Ross, Jake the Snake, Bret the Hitman Hart. The who's who of wrestling are in it. And it's all about Iron Sheik.
It is a honor to speak with you, Mr. Sheik. WWE Hall of Famer, former pro wrestling world champion, absolute legend, the Iron Sheik. Sheik, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. Any final words for our listeners?
Thank you, sir. God bless you. And I want to tell you, you're a very intelligent man to know my name, Khosrow Vaziri.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Being called intelligent by you is the utmost compliment I've ever received in radio. I thank you so much, Mr. Sheik.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Mike, we're going to step aside for a quick break. Back with more of the program when we return. How do we follow up the Iron Sheik? We're going to have Robert Sullivan, City Council President, in studio. That's how we do it. Stick with us, folks.